raised it, not just touched it. "Shall we make a move, Agnes?" said Mrs. Grove. "You can come back later if you feel the need, but just now you've got to make ready for your guests." Typical Mrs. Grove. It must be nice to be in charge. Juliet seemed to have spent her entire 15 years doing what others expected. Like now. Was she meant to arrange for old Mrs. Dancy to be conveyed to their cottage? Heavens, was she supposed to shove that vast old bath chair contraption, on loan for the occasion, through the village, with old Mrs. Dancy complaining bitterly every bumpy step of the way? "Shall we walk together, chick?" Ella Dancy was beside her, smiling her upside-down smile, lips together, edges turned down. It was an unusual smile, and ought not to have been pretty. But it was impossible for Ella to be anything other than beautiful. "Don't fret yourself over Granny. The men'll bring you." They left the churchyard and walked through the straggling village, with its mix of tiled and thatched roofs. You could always tell the tile dwellers, because they said how lovely the thatches were. They didn't have to live with spiders the size of soup plates that scuttled from the thatch into the cottage every time the rain clouds dumped their wares on the moors. Turning into Old Lane, with its row of thatches on one side and gentle upward slope of rough greensward on the other, Juliet breathed in the sweet aroma of grass. The cinder path crunched beneath her feet. When she was little, she used to fly along the lane, the air filling with joyful cinder crackle, to meet Pop on his way home, and be swept up in an earth-scented hug. At home, the fly nets were off and the kettle was boiling. She passed plates and cups and saucers, most of which had been borrowed from up and down the row. From outside came the sound of creaking basket-work and a barrage of crotchety orders from old Mrs. Dancy as she was hoisted from the bath-chair and assisted into the cottage, bringing a flutter of white petals with her as she brushed against the climbing rose. Soon the parlour was filled with neighbours. Someone said, "Delicious ham, Agnes." "I wanted a good send-off." "Course you did, love." "He deserved it." "It must have set you back a bob or two," said old Mrs. Dancy. "Granny!" Ella exclaimed. "As speak as I find," retorted the old woman. "How are you off for money now?" Juliet willed Mother not to answer. "Ham and gossip, them's why I go to funerals," old Mrs. Dancy had told her yesterday as she sat on a wooden pail, straining her bowels. "Well, even though the accident was on Monday, and he died on Tuesday," Mother said with her voice catching, "he was paid to the end of this week." There was the usual chorus of, "His lordship's good like that." "But next week," Mother began. Her face went white, and she pushed her plate away. Ella pushed it back. "You must keep your strength up." "You'll still have your sewing money," Mrs. Grove pointed out, ever practical, "but it'll be your job from now on instead of something you do on the side." "I've always done all the work Mrs. Naseby put me way," said Mother. "Have you?" Mrs. Hope from next door sounded surprised, as well she might. Mother had cultivated the idea that she dabbled in needlework as a favour to others. "I thought you picked and chose." "No." Mother's face flushed. Juliet's did too. Heat started at the back of her neck and crept round to her cheeks, frying the fragile skin beneath her eyes, already tender from the tears she had shed for Pop. "Hey, we're reet lucky to have such a special person, me and thee, Juliet," Pop used to say. "She could have been so much importance in Manchester, but she chose us instead. Ain't that grand?" And as a young child she had believed it was. But now that she was older, and she was aware of the way the other women regarded her mother, the adoration had faded. Or maybe looking after old Mrs. Dancy had turned her cynical. Presently the visitors departed, leaving Mrs. Grove and Ella. Mrs. Grove exclaimed from the kitchen, "There's another plate of sandwiches out here, blood and sand."